Well, hello. Thanks for clicking on this link. I am so excited to share with you the plans that we have for the National Youth Gathering that's coming up. We'll be headed to Texas in 2022. So let's get started with some information about it, what our plans are, traveling from St. Paul in Sheboygan Falls to Texas, to Houston. So again, just a word of welcome. I'm so glad that you want to learn more about the gathering and what it means for your child or for your family. So first up, what is the LCMS? Youth gathering. It's approximately, oops, excuse me, gotta go back a few slides here. It's a gathering of about 20,000 youth and adults from all over the country and really all over the world that gather for this 5-day event. They are all from the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. So it is our church family in real live action in person. It's great to catch up with, join with everyone. You see how big the church really is. The gathering is a chance to grow in your faith and really experience the church at work as we do a few hands-on things, as we learn about what is happening in our world through the lens of being a Lutheran Christian. Definitely a chance to make new friends. You'll meet people from all over the world, whether sometimes it's just a brief encounter. I've also known people that have joined up and gotten married after they've met at a gathering. Don't suggest that for our group, but it has happened, and I've known people that have worked. God has worked through them that way. It is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. There are only a few grades that are able to go twice, but most high schoolers are able to attend once, and it does happen every 3 years. So it is not an every year event. It happens every 3 years. Where and when is it? It's going to be taking place in Houston, Texas. It's happening July 2022. So we have a little bit of time as we start to plan for it. We will be taking a few extra days beforehand and an extra day after to be able to travel, get home, and things like that. But the dates of the actual gathering are July 9th through the 13th. Who can attend the LCMS youth gathering? These are guidelines that are set up by the gathering themselves, not set up by our church, but by the gathering. It is all current 7th through 11th graders. So we are in the 2020-2021 school year. And it's so anybody who is currently in 7th through 11th grade. It is meant for the maturity level of a high schooler and for young adults, because you are going to be spending a lot of time finding your own food, setting your own schedules within the group from our church, but it is a lot of independent time that you'll be doing. So there is a maturity level that goes with that. So people or folks, youth that are age 14 through 19, must be 14 by the time of the gathering, entering his or her freshman year, or being a 2022 graduate. Young adults. So if you happen to not fit into those, if you're too young, you'll be waiting till the next gathering in 2025. If you're on the older end of that spectrum, some of our young adults, they always need help with the Young Adult Volunteer Corps. We call that the Orange Nation. They're the ones that walk around in the orange shirts. They work behind the scenes tirelessly, and you experience the gathering, but at a totally different level. You get a lot more behind the scenes things. You make brand new friends. It's really a great event. I've known a number of young adults that have volunteered in that role. And I know any of our church youth would fit in perfect for that role. So if that is you, applications are not for a little bit yet, but I'd be happy to keep you connected with that. So let me know if you fall into that age bracket and would like to keep in tune with what it means to be a young adult. Adult chaperones are needed for the gathering. They do put caps on how many we can have take with us. So you can kind of see the outline there. It's based on how many youth you have, is how many adults are determined that are able to attend. If there's any interest in an adult that is watching this that would like to come with us, please let me know. I'll give you an application that needs to be filled out and a job description of sorts as to what the expectations will be. Just keep in mind, this is not a vacation. You will be working. You don't get back to your hotel till extremely late, and you've got small group time, and then you're up early in the morning to get rolling. So it is not a vacation. You're not going to be sitting by any sort of beach or swimming pool. It is also not a family trip. The way that we divide up small groups, you are not with your sons or daughters. We really divide them up so that they have a time to share and connect with other people. So keep those things in mind. If you are chosen to attend, I would let you know by the end of May. But first, we need to figure out how many youth are going, which determines how many adults are going. And so it is a little bit of a process. Again, duties will vary and high expectations have been set. So be sure to read over that very, very closely if you're an adult that would like to join us. I hope to really have a great team. We have in that photo, there's our adults that attended last time, and they were fantastic. They really stepped up and set the bar high for what it means to be an adult on the gathering. So would love to have you come along, but again, just ask me for an application and I'll get that to you. Right now, our travel plans are to rent a coach bus. We would arrive a day or two early, check out the city, check out the sites, and then we'd have transportation available to us at any time in case anything were to happen. So it's a great way. Lamers is a nationally known bus company. And so if we were run into any troubles, they've got buses that are all over that we'd be able to connect with and things like that. So I've used them for the last 7 gatherings that I've attended, and they have always done fantastic for our groups. It will really go well above and beyond. So love our bus drivers. What happens during the gathering morning, there's a check-in. You come into usually my hotel room and grab some breakfast items, grab some water, kind of get packed up for the day. And then we'll join with a couple thousand of youth and adults for Bible study. They're all broken up. It could be in the convention center or it could be in a different hotel. And then different programmed events happen during the day. So there's speakers, there's artists, there's concerts, there's all sorts of things that are happening. And I'll go over some photos in a bit so you can kind of see what that looks like. There's little to no wandering or just plain out free time. Youth are expected to be doing something, either in a session or looking at something or partaking in an event. So it's not like you're just wandering around for 8 hours during the day. Groups will be staying close together. So in groups of 2 to 4, we've got lots of adults that will be coming around to wander as well. Mass event happens in the evening. So that's the chance when all of us, whatever the number is going to be this year, all 20,000 gathered together in one spot in the convention center. There is lots and lots and lots of walking. So you'll probably hit your 10,000 steps before noon because you have to walk everywhere. We are at our hotel, but then we walk every place. The bus is parked way far away at a different hotel than us. So lots of walking happens. So get those good walking shoes out. During the gathering, you'll listen to awesome speakers. Some will make you laugh, some will make you cry. They all kind of make you think. And they kind of hit everybody at a different spot. But usually you're able to connect with a few during the day that just really speak to you. You'll join in praising God through music and worship. Learn about God, grow in your faith through daily devotion and Bible study. We kind of start the day with Bible study, end the day with devotion. It's definitely a trip of growth in your faith and your faith walk. Some photos to reflect on. This is our group that attended the last trip in 2019. We explored the city a little bit, and this is the iconic cherry on a spoon outside of the Twin Cities there. And this was our group checking out the art sculptures at that location. Last time we had a scavenger hunt, and so they had to go around, and as you'll see pictures of our youth, but then you'll see other groups, because one of the challenges was they had to take a photo with some other people that they knew were attending the gathering, and you said, hey, let's take a photo. So that's what some of that is. This was a really fun activity for us to do, so I hope to be able to write another scavenger hunt for us for this next gathering. Again, some more photos. The one photo, they had to find somebody wearing a yellow shirt, which is part of the adult teams that work during the gathering. And then another one of another youth group they had to find. Again, just checking out the sites, seeing what the city is known for. There's a lot of art, in the Minneapolis area. So it was cool to check out different statues and art in the downtown area. During the day, a lot of time is spent walking, like I had mentioned before, getting different food items, and that looks different for every gathering, but that is definitely part of it. This is some photos of our group getting ready for Bible study time. So you can kind of see there's a lot of people, a lot of smiling faces. This is probably early in the morning, but they still have smiles on their faces as they're getting ready for Bible study. But that's kind of how the convention centers and ballrooms are set up, just lots and lots of chairs and lots of folks getting ready. Really cool speakers. This is Sam Decker from the Sheboygan area. This photo is actually all these folks in the photo attended Lutheran High or are attending Lutheran High. So little reunion photo there. So that was a great opportunity that we got to talk with him, kind of a local celebrity for some of us. This is just another photo of what it looks like in one of the ballrooms. Just lots of chairs. People are coming in, listening to the speaker that is up front and what they have to speak about. And it's always tons of different topics. There's 25 speakers you can choose from during the day. So it's really wide range. You also have a chance to check out district zones. Each year it's a little bit different as to what's set up, but there's pins and there's t-shirts and there's candy and there's removable tattoos, and just all sorts of fun things that are set up by different districts. The different Concordias have booths that are set up, very interactive. You can spend a number of hours just hanging out there. Also there, they have just energy release areas, which is kind of cool. We've got some of the games that you can see photos there that some of our youth participated in. So just a fun experience. And different things that you can do. It's really amazing what they can all pack in there and what you can experience. It definitely takes the initiative of the group to participate in those. And you're not just walking through and kind of glaring things over, but you're really participating in and learning about those things. Some more photos of our group as we were walking around. We also took place in like a homeless simulation. We talked with a pastor that had been homeless and now ministers to homeless folks, and kind of the struggles that are happening in our world and poverty levels. During the evening is all mass event, and so everything is big. There's a big stage, there's big jumbo screens, everything is happening is just on a large scale with all of us. Last year we were at the US Bank Stadium, and so in the evenings we would walk that way, which is different than the convention center. We'd walk on over to the US Bank Stadium. Houston will be a little bit different, it's just set up differently, and we'll find out as we get closer as to what that setup is going to be. This is kind of what 20,000 people look like, all kind of packed together. As you can see, different groups of people by their t-shirts. So we'll be getting t-shirts as well that kind of signify our group. Awesome bands and speakers last year. I Am They, which is photoed here, played. Also Toby Mac. So great concerts, great Christian music that we got to sing along to. Again, just another photo of just everyone kind of packed in there, definitely a packed house. And that's the stage that you would look at and participate with. The skit guys, I know we've used skit guys videos for confirmation and for worship. They usually are at the gathering, so I would hope that they could be there for this next one too. As you can see, our group often gets very, very close to one another. Definitely friendships are deepened, and you're really sharing in this experience together. So just some photos of our team hanging out. One of the first photo there is one of the MCs. So you'll have an MC that kind of guides you through and introduces the topic for the day. And then last year, a guy named Carl was part of a skit that they were doing. And somehow all 20,000 of us just fell in love with him. And he just kind of popped up at different large group mass events. He was a youth from a friend of mine, her church. And so Carl was kind of just a funny moment and a great memory that, God, we believe in God and Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Carl. So we believe in that. Just a fun kind of thing and a fun memory it just making me giggle as I think about it. So during the nighttime, you kind of go to the mass event and it's still light out, and when you leave it's dark because you spend a number of hours at that mass event time. So we're headed back to our hotel, and then that's when you spend time in your small groups. So everyone reflects on what speakers they went to that day, what they observed, what they heard, what was the topic, the broader topic for that day, kind of get really deep as to what that means for them in their lives. And if somebody went to a really cool speaker, they can say, hey, tomorrow, why don't you see if they're speaking again, and go see them. So they really get to share and connect with each other after usually a pretty long day. These are just more photos of what kind of our small groups look like. So there's 2 adults and then a group of kids that they get to connect with before the gathering, during the gathering, and even after. There's all sorts of photos I've got for some in-between time. You do have to reserve your seats once you get to a spot. So Emily just kind of laid out on 4 chairs there, so she is able to reserve 4 spots. And then I always kind of take a crew with me, and we get a bunch of spots within wherever our mass event is held. So we've got a bunch of seats there that are reserved for our group, and we were pretty pros by the end of it. We knew exactly what we were doing, and getting 50 spots is not an easy task, but they did a great job with that with me. Just some more photos. Kind of before the gathering, we went to Minnehaha Falls and the art outside location. Food is always a huge part. We got to keep those kids fed. So finding locations that can feed a group of our size is always an adventure, but they get to know the waiters pretty well, and they appreciate and love our group because we have usually a very kind and generous group that we're taking with us. Again, just some more photos, some funny moments, some heartwarming moments, some friendship moments. It's all things that are taking place during the gathering. It does get long. It does get tiring. Some of our girls just kind of collapsed in a corner over there. And so they just take a moment for themselves. And then I'm sure they got back up and went back to it. So it is great days, great long days, lots of walking, but everyone makes it through usually and enjoys the experience. Again, we got some more photos of just our time around the city, enjoying that. And I'm sure we will enjoy Houston as that comes too. And this was actually a photo on the way home at the end of last year's trip. And we met up with some folks. I think this was at a local restaurant on the way home, and just kind of like, hey, you were there, we were there too, kind of sort of thing. So more photos taking place during mass events and before, and fill in time. So lots of great memories that took place during the gathering, some smiling faces of these folks. As we look through those photos, you can see pictures. I'll just go back one slide here. You see these faces all the time. You see them helping on Wednesday nights with Awana at confirmation and other ministries. You see them up singing in praise teams. You see them worshiping together with their families in church. So these are not families and photos of people that you only come to the event and then disappear. This is definitely part of their faith growth. This is a mountaintop experience, but they come back and they share that and they continue to live out their lives and their faith in action through their church. So these are photos of people you'll see around continuing to help, continuing to serve. So it is not just a one and done sort of event. We definitely nurture that and continue to keep seeing their lovely faces through the youth ministry and other opportunities through at St. Paul. So before the gathering will take place, we'll get together 3 to 4 times in this next year. We'll work on Bible studies that are written for the gathering that gets us focused on the theme this year, which is in all things. We have a lot of fundraisers that we're going to need to do to help keep that cost down for the trip. Detailed meeting will be held right before we go. There's a covenant that we put together, kind of goes over the rules and expectations and very much detailed. And so everyone signs that by the youth and the parents. So lots of fun things to look forward before we even go on the trip. It's over a year's worth of planning. After gathering, we have a chance to thank the congregation for their huge amount of support. We'll share with other youth and adults our experience and get people excited for the gathering that's going to follow this one. And to attend in 2025. We'll meet up for a reunion, share photos, those kind of things. You're like, Nicole, this all sounds great, but how much is it going to cost me? So right now, there are a lot of different factors. I have no idea how many youth are going to be interested from our church in this particular event, which is a different cost. 20 people is a completely different cost than 40 people, which then reflects how many adults can attend. We won't know where we'll be staying probably for a whole year from now. So next spring, we'll know what hotel we'll be staying in. So I have estimates and I've contacted different organizations regarding buses and what I think hotel costs would be and registration costs. So I have a pretty close picture, but it could change. And my goal is to always get the number to go down for sure. So what would be due right now would be a $50 deposit along with that letter of intent. And I'll get to that in a second. To register for the gathering, it costs $400, and that will be due this coming October when we have to turn in our registration forms and actually get registered for the gathering. Transportation will be approximately $400. Gathering hotel will be around $450. So that would be all of our hotel costs because it is a 8-9 day trip. So that would be all of our hotel costs there. Food money. This is a little bit different than any other trip you've ever gone on. For the gathering, we hand out money for your food during the trip because it is so much money. We won't want any youth carrying that on them personally. Like mission trips where we just say, hey, bring $50 for food that you might need before and after. During the gathering, food money is handed out. So during the gathering, you will receive $200 in different increments. It's usually like every other day, you'll get an envelope and that'll say, this is for lunch and dinner. And then I'll hand you your envelope, or this is for the next 2 days. Make sure it stretches. I've never had a person come home hungry. Everyone has more than enough food money that they need to be able to make it through. It even accounts for snacks and things like that. So, but $200 is given out. So literally you hop on the bus with your backpack and you're going to get food money along the way. Some miscellaneous stuff, gathering t-shirts, other stuff that we'll be putting together. You'll need $50 for that. Sightseeing, 100, district events, 50. So the grand total estimate for each participant is about $1,700. And again, my goal is to get that number down, that nobody will be paying that. So how do we pay for it? We have been blessed very much by our congregation. They support us with budget money, with fundraising, with special donations that come in. You can also save on your own, as that 400 is due in October. So start to save now. Your babysitting money, job money, asking friends and family to support you on your trip, and then again, fundraisers. So cost to you, $50 deposit would be due with the letter of intent, which is due now. $400 would be due in October, and then we would fundraise the rest, and hopefully that would cover everything, but there might be a small possible payment in 2022 of May if we have not met all the fundraising expectations. So keep that in mind. I'm really hoping that May payment wouldn't have to come, and you'll just be like, oh yeah, we're done, we paid for it. Total cost then would be $450. And just remember, you would get your food money back during the trip. So you can figure that. A little bit of youth ministry math is what I like to call it. So, but that would be the cost for each person. Okay. Safety, I know that safety is on everyone's mind, kind of in the midst of what is happening in our world right now. It is a #1 priority for the gathering and the planning team. They're always keeping safety #1. A few things that they do in this next couple of weeks, next couple of years, we don't really know what's happening regarding the pandemic. Will masks be required? How are we going to social distance? Those kind of things. A lot of those are unknown, but we will definitely keep you up to date as things continue on. We hope that pandemic is just going to be a word of the past, and we won't even have to reflect on that. But it will be, right now, it is definitely in the forefront of our minds as we continue forward for safety reasons. As we walk around Houston, the police presence is amazing. They will be on every street corner. We happen to have a group that kind of got lost last year. They couldn't remember where the hotel was. You kind of just get turned around. They asked a police officer, they got you back to where you needed to be. So the gathering hires extra police officers and security for that. So you'll definitely see their presence when we are down there. While at the convention center, because security is always being checked. You'll see that in a lot of the photos, you'll see backpacks and wristbands. We do that on purpose, and so everyone looks the same. So if a person is trying to get into the convention center that doesn't have a backpack, that doesn't have a wristband, that is not wearing a matching shirt, they won't be let in, and they're very serious about security. So that's why they pass out those things. That's why we have security measures in place to keep everyone safe. There's definitely support that the gathering has. There's adults that wear yellow shirts and blue shirts, part of different teams that they have. Yellow is like with the hotel, with security things, and the blue shirts are more for mental health. If anything were to come up, something's happening back home that they need to help with. If something happens within our group while we're down there, the blue shirts are there, and they're available 24/7. So the gathering definitely looks out for the whole person, the whole youth as they're going. And again, safety is #1. We do spend a lot of time before the gathering getting to know one another, so that when you're actually at the gathering, communication is already happening. If something comes up, maybe a youth, is just dealing with something, they were listening to a speaker and they just want to talk to somebody, they can go to any of the adults on our team and they'll feel comfortable already because they've already gotten to know them. Maybe somebody is just sick of walking around with the group they've been walking around with the last day, and they just want to go join another group for the day. And our group has always been more than willing to do that. And I can see that happening with this next group as we head to Texas as well. So it is really, really important. I can't stress that enough, that we gather before the actual trip, so that our youth get comfortable knowing who's going on the trip, who they want to hang out with, who they maybe don't want to hang out with, and some of those comfortability things are happening. So again, I cannot stress enough, those pre-gathering meetings are really, really important as our group gets to form, gets to know one another. And it's important for our adults to know, okay, is this person, do they normally act that way, or is it just something else is happening that we need to have, kind of have a sit down and talk. So sign me up. Are you excited? I know I am very excited for the 2020 gathering happening in Houston. So what happens now to get you registered and going? To make a commitment, there is a letter of intent. It can be found on our website, or see me. I have them here at church. There's a non-refundable deposit of $50 that is needed, and those are to get returned back to the church office, signed with the check by May 2nd. That will ensure your spot for the gathering. As we get closer, the registration fee of $400 come this October, this fall, will also be non-refundable, but we have some time over the summer. I know things happen and things come up, but we hope that everyone is able to really commit at that time. Just a word of note, this trip is not for everyone. Again, I talked about the maturity level and things like that. It's just not a trip that everyone is comfortable making. It is a long way away, all the way down to Houston, Texas. But know that we, again, will have everyone's safety in mind. A great trip will be planned and organized as much as we can possibly do ahead of time. But really think and pray about it before you make that commitment. Please read over everything that has been given to you. Watch this video again. Look over the PowerPoint that's been presented, those sort of things. Again, because this is a great trip, and I would love for all of you to go, but somebody may need to wait until the next trip, or maybe there's other opportunities through St. Paul in which you can serve and grow and learn. So things to keep in mind, but definitely think and pray about it before you sign the dotted line. Keep informed. Our church website, I've already got information up on there, so stpaulfalls.com, and look for the LCMS Youth Gathering. There's a few dates out there for pre-gathering things, and fundraisers some are listed, and that list will obviously be growing as we get closer. We do have a closed Facebook group. It's a great opportunity just to post last minute announcements, other things that are coming up. Adults during the trip, this is a great spot to see photos of your kids as they're going through, and they're like, what have they been up to? Check out our closed Facebook group page. You'll see photos. We have a number of adults on our team that are really focused on taking photos, so you'll be well informed. Keep me informed. Once our group is established, we will have a Snapchat group. It's a great place just for the youth to post something really quick or share a photo. And then actually on the trip, we'll be using the Remind message system, and that's way over a year from now, but we'll get everyone signed up for that. Things change often and last minute things, and so it's easy for me just to hop on Remind, send a quick blast text out to everyone. It's the fastest way to do that, to get messages out to about 50 people really quickly. So we'll be using that. Again, interested adults, if you are interested, please be sure to see me so I can get the application and guidelines to you so you know what to expect as an adult on this trip. So just see me. I'd love to get you connected with that. If anybody has any questions, please be sure to let me know. My question is why are there 5 boys in a coach bus bathroom? But, you know, memories, I guess. So, but if you have questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer those. Whew, that's a lot of information. I know, take a breath, right? But thank you for taking an interest in the LCMS Youth Gathering. Thank you for our church for their continued support. And they just continue to support us financially through their prayers and through a lot of different ways. So thank you for our church. Thanks for trusting your children into our care for such a big trip as this. So you know I will be working 100% to make this a great trip. And I'm blessed with an organization that I can of gift a talent of that. So I will be putting that to use. And thank you to God for the blessings he bestows on all of us for the opportunity to gather as a church body. So just looking forward to this. Final thought, it's going to be a great experience. And I know that everyone that is able to attend will really be able to enjoy it like none other. It is definitely a mountaintop experience. As I was getting things ready for this presentation, I had a photo on Snapchat, just getting ready. And I had a young adult from my congregation from 12 years ago who went on the gathering and said, can I come? Well, she's now in her late 20s. And I said, sorry, but that's how much the gathering meant to her, is that she wanted to go on this another trip because it meant so much. So it's definitely a mountaintop, faith-filled experience that I hope all of you get to enjoy. So, and memories are definitely made. Again, any questions, please let me know. I would be happy to connect with you and answer things that you might be wondering about. So just let me know. All right, God's blessings on your day. Thanks again for watching.